Oh, look at you finally living the equality dream. It's truly heartwarming to see you standing there on your healthy feet since, as you've reminded us for decades, you're neither pregnant nor disabled and certainly not entitled to a seat just for existing. We're just doing our part to respect your campaign against toxic masculinity and how patronizing it was for men to be chivalrous. So we'll be keeping our seats, keeping the door shut, and letting you enjoy the empowerment of lugging your own heavy items. You wanted all the good parts of the world and none of the bad. But since this is what you women wanted, stop waffling and enjoy the view from a standing position. It's exactly the world you fought for. Why should European men offer to help you anyway? Aren't you strong and independent? Or are you so far from the woods that you can't call a bear to help with your heavy luggage? Random men don't owe you labor, especially since they're not expecting you to cook them a meal either. Also, no man wants to end up in a "so this creep approached me the other day" video. No thank you.
Be careful when you are traveling because the men do not help you. I've been away for about 3 weeks now and we have seen some things, okay? Like last night, for example, there was a girl that fell off the ledge of something onto rocks, and men needed to assist in helping her get back up because she was not cooperating and no one did. Tell me why it took five minutes. Women were rushing over from people screaming and asking for help, and no man stopped to help. And then when one finally did stop and help, there were two down there. One of them said, "Fuck this," walked away. The other one hoisted her up, put her down, and said, "I'm not dealing with you anymore," and then walked off. And then when I said, "You're a bit of a dickhead because you are for speaking to her like that," he then came back and tried to hit me in the face and was like, "Who are you calling a dickhead? Who are you calling a dickhead?" Just be mindful if you are traveling to Europe, Asia, wherever it is that you're going, always make sure that you have a friend with you. And if you are intoxicated or, I mean, honestly, just, I know that sometimes you can't help it, but just try to not get to that level because I've seen women get to that level on this holiday and the men don't help. Maybe it was just luck of the draw, but these men, none of them helped. And when they did, they complained and then tried to square up with me.
The man tried to offer assistance, and since she wasn't cooperating, he got fed up and wanted to leave. Other than him trying to hit you, I don't see anything wrong with that. I don't know what's going on in his head, and I'm not trying to justify what he did. But if you should have kept your mouth shut.
Quick question here. Are there no real men at Home Depot at 1 o'clock on a Tuesday afternoon? Normally, I take one of my kids with me to help load, but today was a bit of an emergency and they're all in school. I bought several sheets of 4x8 and about a dozen studs and headed to my car and loaded them all by myself. Clearly, I'm capable, no problem. But while I was loading, 5 men passed by me, watching me, and not one of them offered to help. Even the Home Depot employees were standing around watching. I have 5 sons and a husband, and never would they pass by a woman of any age and not offer to help her. I know, I've been told I'm a little intimidating and scary to approach, so no need to write that in the comments. I guess I'm just a little disappointed.
Disappointed? I'm actually proud of them. They know offering a hand to a possible Karen could go very bad. They know it's better to mind their own business instead of getting screamed at by a feminist in distress.
Do you know what I actually can't believe? Yesterday, I was on the tube coming home, and um, a drunk man, got on the tube and sat. He sat next to me originally and was chatting to some other people that had a dog. Oh my god, the bags under my eyes. Um, and then they got off the tube, and he was like looking at me, and I was just ignoring him. I was just doing my own little thing. Then he moved and sat opposite me on the tube, and then he was going, "Hello, hello," and I just looked at him and was like, I was like on my phone, but I like looked at him, and he was like, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine." And he was like, "Where you from? You from Italy?" And I was like, "No." He was like, "You from here?" And I was like, "No," because it was like London. I was like, "No, somewhere else." He was like, "Oh, you're on holiday?" I was like, "No, just traveling." I was trying to be like just short and like get him to stop speaking to me. And then he was going like, "Oh, well, he had a beer in his hand and he kept spilling his beer everywhere." And I was just trying to ignore him. And he was like, "Are you married?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm married." Obviously not, but I was like, "Yeah, I'm married." He was like, "Oh, have you got children?" I was like, "No." He was like, "Oh, so you're single then?" I was like, "No, I'm married." And then he was like, "How old are you?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm 20." I was like, "If I knock a few years off, maybe he'll leave me alone." As if that would make a difference. And he was like, "Oh, young." And I was like, "Yeah." And he was like, "Oh, okay." Then he just kept like mumbling like Italian words because he thought I was Italian. And I was just like, on my phone, like, and he just would not stop. He was just like, he was like going, high five me, shake my hand, all this. And then he was like, "Oh, bye bye, I'm getting off now." Then he stood up and he was just still looking at me, like just standing there. And then he didn't get off. He sat back down and he was like, "Oh, not getting off yet, actually." And I was like, "Oh, okay." While this is going on, there's a bunch of men around me that were English because they were speaking English like a minute ago, before he got on. And they were all just ignoring it. They were all just like leaving him to just literally harass me. And then notice like the last stop of the train is where I was getting off, and that's obviously where he was getting off because it was the last stop. So he was like, "Oh, okay, I'm getting off now." Obviously I hadn't realised it was the last stop, so I said, "Oh, bye," and I let him get off and I stayed on the tube for a bit just so that he could walk ahead. And like again, no one said anything to me apart from one girl took her headphones out and she went, "Are you okay?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'm just like letting him walk ahead for a bit so like he doesn't speak to me anymore." And she was like, "Oh, I couldn't tell if he was bothering you or not." Like, I appreciate that the girl actually asked me if I was all right and everything, but like the men didn't do anything. Like, chivalry is dead, but also you couldn't tell he was bothering me. He was quite clearly bothering me. And then as we got off, she was like, "I'll walk with you for a bit, but like I'm not leaving the station. I'm getting on another train, so I can't come outside with you." And I was like, "Oh, that's fine." Like, and then as we were walking, that the guy had stopped and he like turned around and he saw me and he was like, "Oh, you, Italy, Italy." And I was just ignoring him and he was like, "Oi, are you ignoring me? Why are you ignoring me?" And I was just like, "I'm just gonna keep ignoring him, just walking." He was going, "Oi, oi." And then I was like, right, keys are in my hand right now. I had to walk to my car, and bear in mind, I had to get off at Ealing Broadway, which is like a scatty station, scatty area. So the route to my car was like literally a 2-minute walk. But because he was behind me, I didn't want him to follow me. So I actually went like a different route and started walking with a group of people so that I wasn't on my own, because the route to my car, I would have been walking on my own and it was dark. And then he wandered off somewhere else, and I like literally like not sprinted, but like speed walked to my car. But yeah, I was texting my mum as well at the time, and I was like, "Why is nobody like helping me? They can quite clearly see that this man is bothering me. Why has no man stepped in to help?" It really bothered me.
Did any woman help you? No? Why would you expect a stranger to risk their life to save you? Also, if it was an unattractive man, he'd also be called a creep, even though he's just trying to help. You want a savior, but he needs to be Prince Charming. You could have moved to other parts of the tube when you started feeling uncomfortable. You didn't even have to respond to him. You kept answering him as he tried to pester you. If you didn't respond in the first place, he would have moved on or shut up. Men don't owe you anything.
Y'all, what is up with men? And I know this is always a topic
And what specific topic is this video going to be about?
here, but I'm generally speaking about why do men have a hard time helping women?
They don't have a hard time helping women, but they've been told to leave women alone.
Something that I have observed not only in my personal life, but literally in the outside world, because I'm a watcher. Men will stand there. The women will have all the bags, the kids, the suitcases, the luggage. She'll be doing everything. And he's just standing there.
I wonder, did she ask for help?
They'll just be standing there, like just watching the woman suffer as if it brings them some kind of pleasure. From my perspective, it looks like that because I'll just be looking and I'm just like, anybody would help that woman right now. Why are you just standing there? Y'all are the men.
I guess some women do need men after all, if for nothing more than to carry heavy objects. But I guess one didn't take into consideration that a lot of men stopped helping women because whenever they do, many times they're often told that they're not doing it right, they're doing it wrong, and the woman will just redo it anyway after making the man feel about 1 inch tall. Gee, I can't imagine why more men wouldn't want to help out.
watched a white girl fight off a robber at gunpoint. He literally had a gun to her. She fought him off, got the magazine out the gun and everything. But the crazy part about it was that there was two men watching very close by. I mean, literally very close by. They were right within the vicinity, which is weird because why would that man try to rob her with those two guys there? But he did it because he knew they wasn't gonna do shit, and they did not. It was one man sitting on the.
I don't know why this is such a hard concept to understand, but women created this situation where they dislike men so much that men finally said, fuck it, we're not going to help you, we're not going to protect you, we owe you absolutely nothing, and because you're just some random stranger, I no longer have to help you. And really what gets me about the video is that there's a lot of other people in that video. Most people did a singular focus on the man sitting in the grass when that woman was getting attacked, but there were women there. So what happened to women supporting women? You know, y'all like to preach like how you're girls and you're supporting each other and oh my God, I'm always here for you. But you see a woman getting attacked and there's two women walking the other direction. Why aren't they running to her defense? Right, because you want the men that you claim are such trash to save you. And this is a perfect example of what women do all of the freaking time. They create this standard for how men should treat them, whether that's in the dating phases, in the marriage stages, in friendships, whatever it is. And they created this standard where they hate men so much, but now you want protection from said men. And now that you don't get it, the men are weak. Make it make sense. You cannot continuously drag men and blame the patriarchy and all of this bullshit around you, but then expect men to jump in and save you. Why don't you all call a freaking bear? Okay, bye.
Stop ranting on social media and call the bear to protect you. You chose the bear. And may I remind you again, men don't owe you anything. That's it for this video, guys. Help us grow by subscribing to the channel. Drop your thoughts down below and don't forget to leave a like as well. See you next time.